My husband came home with a bruise on his neck. Rough basketball game, he lied. But later that night, he took his shirt off, and I saw nail scratches down his back. My blood ran cold. The next morning, I whispered, "Did you win the game?" He smirked until I held up a picture I secretly took of his back. His jaw dropped, and I knew he had no way out of this. I, 42 female, live in Columbus, Ohio. I've been married to Mark, 45 male, for 15 years. We have 2 kids, a house in a quiet neighborhood, and what I thought was a stable, normal life. I've never posted on Reddit before, but I need to get this out. I need people to know how quickly things can fall apart when you trust the wrong person. This started 3 weeks ago. Mark plays pickup basketball every Friday evening at the gym near our house. He's been doing it for years. It's his guys' night. I never had a reason to question it. That Friday, he came home later than usual, around 9:30 p.m. He walked in like nothing was wrong. He smelled like sweat and had that smug, tired look guys get when they think they've done something productive. I was washing dishes when he walked in. He gave me a quick kiss on the cheek, mumbled something about being starving, and started raiding the fridge. That's when I saw it. A dark bruise, just under the collar of his shirt on the left side of his neck. I froze. I stared for a second longer than I should have. He noticed. "What's that?" I asked, trying to sound casual, nodding at his neck. He reached up and touched it. "Huh? Oh, caught an elbow. Rough game tonight." His answer came too fast. Too smooth. Mark's not a fast talker. He's the kind of guy who pauses before he speaks, takes his time. That night, the words came like he'd practiced. I nodded. "Ouch. Looks like it hurt." He shrugged. "It's not that bad." I let it go. For the moment. But I didn't sleep well that night. Something about the way he said it, it didn't sit right. The bruise didn't look like an elbow hit. It was round and dark, and in the exact spot someone might plant their mouth during an intimate moment. I started to spiral. I stayed up that night Googling things like how to tell if a bruise is a hickey and signs of cheating. I didn't want to believe it, but I couldn't ignore it either. Then, the next night, it got worse. We were getting ready for bed. I was already in bed when he walked into the room shirtless. He tossed his clothes in the hamper and turned to grab his charger off the floor. That's when I saw his back. 3 red, angry scratches ran from his shoulder blade down toward his waist. Long, jagged, like someone had raked their nails across his skin, fresh enough that they hadn't scabbed yet. My stomach dropped. I didn't say anything right away. I just stared. I don't think he even noticed me looking. I kept my face blank. Quiet. I waited until he went into the bathroom. I grabbed my phone. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped it. But I managed to take a quick photo when he came back out and bent over to plug in his phone. He got in bed, kissed my shoulder, and rolled over. I laid there, eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling all night. I felt sick. My heart was beating so fast it hurt. My body was cold and hot at the same time. I knew. I didn't have solid proof, but my gut screamed. I stared at that photo every hour that night, replaying every moment, every red flag, every time I brushed something off. The next morning, I got up early and made coffee like I always do. I wanted to confront him, but I didn't want to blow up. Not yet. I wanted to catch him in the lie. So when he came into the kitchen, I smiled and said, "Did you win the game last night?" He smirked. Of course. I pulled out my phone. I held up the picture of his back, clear as day. His smile dropped. He went pale, like someone had drained the blood from his face. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Finally, he stammered. "What is that?" "You tell me," I said. He started mumbling something about how he scratched himself on a door frame. Or maybe during the game. He wasn't sure. I didn't say anything. I just looked at him. That silence must have been louder than anything I could have screamed. He knew I wasn't buying it. His eyes dropped. His whole posture changed. He looked defeated. That's when he admitted it. He told me he'd been seeing someone. A woman from the gym. Said it had only happened a couple of times. That it didn't mean anything. That he still loved me. I didn't respond. I couldn't. My ears were ringing. My hands were clenched. My eyes were burning, but I didn't cry. He begged me to say something. He followed me around the house. I walked into the bathroom and locked the door behind me. I sat on the floor for 2 hours. I stared at the tiles and tried to breathe. We've been in this weird limbo ever since. He's been sleeping on the couch. I haven't told the kids yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I know this much, he's not the man I married. And now, I'm starting to wonder if he ever was. After that morning, everything changed. Mark moved to the couch. He kept trying to talk, but I wasn't ready. I needed time to think, to feel, to process. But even in the silence, things got louder. That night, I couldn't sleep again. My mind was racing with questions. Who was she? How long had this been going on? Was it really just a couple of times like he said, or was that just another lie? The next day, while he was at work, I did something I never thought I'd do. I went through his phone. I know, it's a violation of privacy. But he already violated so much more. He had changed his passcode, which was weird because we used to have the same one. But he forgot one thing. He had backed up everything to the family iPad, which was still logged into his Apple account. I opened his messages. That's when everything unraveled. There wasn't just one woman. There were three. Three. The first was someone from the gym. Her name was Tina. I found texts from her. Pictures too. Selfies in locker rooms. Flirty messages about meeting in the sauna. I wanted to throw up. But the second one made my chest go tight. It was someone I knew. Kelly. My best friend from college. She and I had been close for years. She even came to our house for Thanksgiving last year. She hugged my kids. She smiled at me across the table while she was sleeping with my husband. Their texts were worse. Longer. Deeper. They weren't just hooking up. They were talking about feelings. About what-ifs. About maybe being together for real. He called her Kels in his messages. That nickname used to be mine for her. I dropped the iPad. I sat there on the edge of the bed, shaking. The room felt like it was tilting. I couldn't breathe. I took a screenshot of everything. Every message. Every photo. Then I sent them to myself. I didn't say anything that night. I didn't even look at Mark. I couldn't. He must have felt the shift, because the next day, he tried harder than usual to make small talk. Asking if I needed anything from the store. Offering to take the kids to practice. I didn't answer. That night, I waited until the kids were asleep. I walked into the living room, where he was watching TV on the couch. I sat across from him. Quiet. He turned off the TV. You said it was one time, I said. He blinked. It was. I told you. Don't, I interrupted. Tina, Kelly, and some girl named Cassie from your office. Should I keep going? He didn't speak. So I pulled out my phone and showed him the screenshots. He sat there, mouth slightly open, like he couldn't believe I knew. Like he'd been caught in the middle of writing a lie and didn't know how to finish it. I waited. I watched. Finally, he looked down at his hands. It just happened, he whispered. I didn't plan it. That line. That stupid, cowardly line. I didn't plan it. I snapped. You didn't plan it? I said. You didn't plan it when you lied to my face? When you looked our kids in the eye and said you'd be home late because of basketball? When you brought her into our house? His head jerked up. What? Kelly, I spat. You brought her into our house. You let her sit next to me. Smile at me. You let her play with our daughter. That hit him. He went pale again. Just like the morning I showed him the picture. He tried to talk again. I didn't let him. There's more, I said. Did you know Tina messaged me? On Instagram. From a fake account. Said she was tired of being the side chick and wanted me to know. He looked stunned. She thought you were going to leave me, I said. She really believed that. He covered his face with his hands. I didn't mean for it to get this far. I stood up. You didn't mean for any of it. But here we are. I walked out of the room. I didn't cry. Not that night. Not even the next morning. I was past crying. Now I was angry. But then, 3 days later, another twist. Kelly showed up at my door. In broad daylight. While Mark was at work. I opened the door and saw her standing there like she was going to explain something. Like there was anything she could say. Her face was red. Her eyes were puffy. She looked awful. I didn't let her speak. I just said, leave. She opened her mouth. I stepped forward. You don't talk to me. You don't come to my house. You don't look at my kids. If you try anything again, I will ruin you. Do you understand me? She just nodded and walked away. But the worst part? That wasn't the end either. Later that week, Mark confessed that Kelly had told him she was pregnant. Pregnant. I was done. But even now, I haven't left yet. There's more going on. Finances. Lawyers. Kids. It's a mess. And he keeps saying he wants to fix it. But how do you fix a house that burned from the inside? After Kelly dropped the bomb that she might be pregnant, I went completely numb. Mark swore it wasn't true. He said she was lying. Manipulating. Trying to hold on to him. He said she'd already told him that if he didn't leave me for her, she'd find a way to blow everything up. I believed that part. But I didn't believe him. Not anymore. At this point, I was sleeping in the guest room. He was still on the couch. We barely spoke. Every time we crossed paths, it felt like walking past a stranger in my own home. I kept thinking, how did I get here? Then, one afternoon, I was going through our shared bank account, just routine stuff, when I noticed something. A $600 charge at a jewelry store downtown. It was recent. Very recent. Like, after he supposedly confessed everything and wanted to rebuild. I stared at the charge for a long time. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but it didn't sit right. So I called the store. I told them I needed a copy of the receipt, pretending it was for insurance purposes. They emailed it. It wasn't a watch. It wasn't for me. It was a custom necklace. Gold. With the name Kelsey engraved on the back. Kelsey. Not Tina. Not Kelly. Not Cassie. Someone new. I couldn't even breathe. I felt like the ground beneath me split open. 4. There were 4 women now. 4. While I was spiraling, losing sleep, questioning every moment of my life, this man was out shopping for gold jewelry for another woman. I confronted him that night. I didn't wait. I walked into the living room and threw my phone on the table. The receipt was open. He glanced at it. Then he looked at me. His face didn't change. He just said, "You went through the bank account?" That's what he focused on. Not the necklace. Not the name. Not the betrayal. The necklace, Mark, I snapped. Who the hell is Kelsey? At first, he said it was a co-worker's birthday gift. A group of us chipped in, he said. Nothing personal. I stared at him. Is this co-worker one of the same group you cheated with? His mouth opened, then closed. I knew. I knew before he even said it. He finally muttered, "We kissed a couple of times." It didn't go anywhere. I laughed. It came out sharp and bitter and louder than I meant it to. I didn't mean to laugh, but it was like something snapped inside me. You kissed a coworker, I said. After screwing 3 other women, you thought kissing a 4th was fine? You thought, hey, let's reward myself with a custom necklace for that? Is that it? He tried to speak again. I held up my hand. I'm done talking, Mark. You lie like it's breathing. He followed me down the hallway, trying to explain, to twist it, to say it wasn't serious. That's when I turned around and said what I had been holding in for weeks. I'm getting a lawyer. His face dropped, like he never thought I'd actually say it. Then he said something I didn't expect. He whispered, if you go through with this, you'll lose everything. I'll fight for the house, for the kids, for everything. That was the moment I realized something had changed in him too. He wasn't ashamed anymore. He was angry that I wasn't backing down. This man had wrecked our marriage, lied to my face, cheated with multiple women, and now, he was threatening to take my kids? That flipped a switch in me I didn't know I had. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just said, try me. Then I walked upstairs, shut the door, and locked it behind me. The next day, I met with a divorce attorney. But here's the thing. When we pulled financials deeper, she found something even worse. A separate bank account. In his name only. Opened 6 months ago. Large deposits. Frequent transfers. Money missing from our joint savings. When I asked him about it, he said it was for an investment opportunity. When I pushed, he finally admitted it was money he'd been saving in case things ended badly. So not only had he been cheating, he was also planning for the exit. Behind my back. Preparing for the fallout while pretending to be sorry. That's where I am now. For women. A secret account. Possible pregnancy. A man who smiles when he lies. No ending yet. Just a woman sitting in a quiet house, building a case, one piece at a time. After discovering the secret bank account, something in me just stopped caring about saving any part of us. I didn't scream. I didn't argue. I didn't even ask for another explanation. I knew I was done. But then I found out who Kelsey was. I was at Target of all places, picking up school supplies for our daughter. I ran into Jenna, another mom from our neighborhood. We know each other enough to exchange smiles, nothing deep. We were in the checkout line when she casually asked, "Hey, did you hear about Kelsey transferring schools?" I blinked. Kelsey who? Kelsey Myers? The TA at your husband's office. She's, like, 23, right? Cute, blonde, super bubbly. My niece worked with her for a semester. My throat went dry. 23. Worked at Mark's office. It clicked. She wasn't just a coworker. She was barely out of college. And he bought her jewelry. I nodded slowly, trying not to let my face crack. I checked out, walked to my car, and sat there for 15 minutes with the engine running. I couldn't move. I just sat there gripping the wheel. I had to talk to him. But this time, not alone. So I waited. And planned. That Saturday, my sister came over to watch the kids. I told Mark we were having a real conversation that night. No more avoiding it. No more walking away. I invited Kelly too. Yes, her. She didn't know Mark would be there. Mark didn't know she'd be there either. I needed the lies to stop. I needed everything out in the open. I needed witnesses. That night, I sat them both down in the living room. Mark looked confused. Kelly looked nervous. I started simple. How long? I asked. Kelly stayed silent. Mark shifted. It didn't matter. It wasn't real. For women, I said. That's how many I know about. You gave jewelry to a 23-year-old assistant. You said you loved Kelly. You told Tina you were leaving me. You took Cassie to that cabin in Hocking Hills. I saw the Airbnb charges. Mark's face dropped. Kelly's mouth fell open. You told me she didn't know about the others, I said, looking at her. But you did, didn't you? Kelly looked at me, then at Mark. Then she spoke. I didn't know about all of them. I knew about Tina. He told me she was nothing. Said she came onto him. Said he stopped it. Mark's face twisted. That's not Aunt Kelsey, I said, cold. Did you know about her too? Kelly hesitated. He mentioned her once. Said she was young and liked the attention. But I didn't know about the necklace. Mark stood up. Okay, enough. What is this? Some kind of trap. I stood up too. This is the truth. Something you haven't given me in months. He ran a hand through his hair. I messed up, okay? I know that. But this? Turning everyone against me? Bringing her here? What's the point? The point. I snapped. You shattered our family. You lied. Repeatedly. And when I finally stood up for myself, you threatened to take my kids. Kelly stood now too. Wait, you threatened her with custody? Mark's eyes darted between us. I was angry. I didn't mean it. You didn't mean it, I repeated, like a joke. Like you didn't mean to cheat. Or didn't mean to fall in love. Or didn't mean to make a second bank account behind my back. There was silence. Long and sharp. Then Kelly said, I'm leaving. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. She looked at me. I'm sorry. I didn't answer. I didn't owe her anything. She left. That was the last time I saw her. Mark tried to speak again, but I stopped him. I'm filing next week. The lawyers already started the paperwork. I want full custody. I want the house. I want peace. You're blowing up our life, he whispered. No, I said, quietly. You already did. I'm just sweeping up the pieces. It's been 6 months. The divorce is in progress. He moved into an apartment across town. He sees the kids every other weekend. He still tries to talk. He still says he wants to fix it. But the sparkle in his eye, the one I fell for, it's gone. Maybe it was never real. Kelly moved out of state. Tina blocked him. Kelsey? I don't know. I don't ask. People talk. Some neighbors judge. Some act like they always knew. A few kind friends brought casseroles and sat with me on hard days. But I survived. I didn't think I would, but I did. And now? I'm healing. I laugh again. I sleep. I started journaling. I'm rediscovering parts of myself I forgot. There's no fairy tale ending here. Just me. Moving forward. A little more guarded. A lot more aware. But free. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. If you feel like something's wrong, trust your gut. And never let someone's lies become your truth. I didn't choose this story, but I'm choosing how it ends. And that's enough for me.